Greetings, humanitarian, intellectual, aloof, Aquarius. My name is Eliane Nicole. I'm an astrologer and tarot card reader, and now I'm going to do the April 2021 forecast for the sign of Aquarius. And I'm going to do a tarot reading, and I'm going to talk about some of the planetary transits as well. And I recommend that you watch the videos for your sun, moon, and rising sign to get the fullest and broadest scope of what to expect in the month of April. If you don't know your sun, moon, and rising, definitely contact me to have your birth chart done. It is such a valuable tool of self-awareness and self-discovery and a roadmap on the journey of life. But in the meantime, in between time, watch your sun, moon, and rising here and see what resonates for you the most. If you have a day chart, the sun and rising might be the most resonant. And if you have a night chart, the moon and rising. Night chart people often kind of feel the energy of the moon more prominently even than their sun sign. So as we enter the month of April, Aquarius, we see a culmination. Something is coming to a head. It's like a situation maybe that you planted the seeds for very long time ago is coming to fruition. And on the most mundane level, this could be like a garden that you planted that's growing flowers. On a more lofty level, it could be like a creative project or something coming to its head, or things like that. And then there's so much in between, of course. And then this also, by the way, corresponds with this is, like I said, it's the beginning of the month. April 3rd, Mercury moves into Aries. And when Mercury moves into Aries, Aquarius, it is moving into your third house of communication. And so this is also the house of siblings. It's also the house of like your neighbors in your neighborhood. So it could express in any of those ways. For different Aquariuses, it might express in different ways. And for some, it'll express on multiple levels. But this is a time where in those, with Mercury in that house, it looks like you were very blunt with your opinions. You were very expressive. You may be doing some writing, some speaking, some talking, or you may find yourself around people who are being that way with you. And you were covered by the Six of Swords, so this could be a trip or a journey of some kind, literally, or in a more figurative sense, it could have to do with you just kind of moving away from kind of a choppy emotional time to a calmer, more serene emotional landscape. And you were crossed by the Five of Pentacles in the month of April. So that looks like you are working on perhaps correcting a spiritual or financial injury, and or a spiritual or financial challenge. And the basis of the situation, we see the Hierophant. So this has to do with, this card is about commitment and morals. It can also have to do with institutions, traditions, people who are related to institutions or who work with or at institutions. It's upright, so it's positive, but it's also a very kind of, it's a traditional card. And it corresponds, I'm seeing it show up for you really around the 10th through the 12th, most prominently, although the energy of this card is kind of over your entire month of April, this Hierophant energy. And by the way, the Hierophant is also the year card for 2021. So this energy is prominent over our entire year. And Saturn is an Aquarius now. And so I think of this card with Saturn, and it's a very kind of similar energy in a way. And, and then there's that Jupiter's in Aquarius now too. And this card has a Jupiterian and a Saturnian energy about it, because, Saturn and Jupiter, they're the leaders and they're the teachers and they're the wise ones. And anyway, April 11th is the new moon of Aries, and that new moon of Aries is also emerging for you in that third house. And so it looks like it's a real time to speak your truth. And it's also a time to set intentions around anything that you want to start new, anything around third house topics. Again, siblings, neighbors, or neighborhood, short trips or journeys. Yeah, things like that. So what's leaving? A rebirth after a big change in life. What could come into being? A meeting or reunion could happen around the 13th to the 15th. And this kind of coincides with the time that Venus enters Taurus. And when Venus enters Taurus, for you, that's entering your fourth house of home. And a meeting, a reunion. Maybe this is something to do with home, around any kind of fourth house topics. The fourth house can be like your physical home, but it can also be the homeland. It can be your parents, it can be family, it can be your mother, it can be roots, ancestors, legacy, real estate, wealth, any of those kinds of things. And this house in general is becoming very prominent for you in April and into May a bit, but I'm going to stay focused on April in this reading, and stick with me and watch the May when I put those out next month. What could come into being? Also around mid-month, there could be a paradigm shift or actually you've had the paradigm shift already, Aquarius, and it's like the karmic debris is passing finally, is more like it. So the worst is over, and it's time to start rebuilding, the new structure now that the old one has come down. And your fears or insecurities are the Ten of Swords. And so the Ten of Swords are kind of like, again, it's very much like a new start after a difficult completion in your life. And it involves maybe having to turn around some really old, staid ideas that you have, or perhaps it's that you have to let go of like your repetitive negative thinking, or a repetitive like resentment maybe that you're mulling over, something like that. I guess it's difficult for you to let go. There might be something about it that serves you to hold on to. But again, it's going to, this I'm seeing the most prominent around the 19th through 21st, but again, it's something that's an energy over April. And then on the 19th, this will actually kind of, this card aligns with the round at the same time that both the Mercury and the Sun are moving into Taurus. And so again, we have these fourth house topics coming up for you, because Taurus rules your fourth house. And so these topics are home, the family, the parents, real estate, wealth, legacy, roots, ancestors. And for some Aquariuses, it will be just one of those topics, and for some it will express on multiple levels. And others see you as the Empress reversed. So this is basically like if you were an Aquarius woman, there's someone in your life or others in your life who are seeing you as stuck in a rut in some way, like maybe not growing creatively, or maybe something like that. It's also, it can be out of alignment with any creative principle around the woman, around the feminine principle. So that could be like motherhood, creativity. It could be, the growing of anything. This corresponds with the time, but if you're an Aquarius man, this could be a woman who is looking at you and there's something that she may be upset with you about. And this woman is likely like a mother figure, or a creative woman figure. And at this time, this is showing the most prominent around the 22nd to the 24th of the month, but it's on the table for the entire month of April. And it happens to correspond with around the same time that Mars is entering Cancer, which is April 23rd. And Mars in Cancer is entering your 6th house. And the 6th house is the house, it can be the house of health, physical health. It can also be, and with Cancer in that house, in this, so yeah, this could be that someone is not telling you about a physical health issue. Mars in Cancer can be passive, aggressive in their motivations, or not communicate what their motivations are. Sometimes there can be a kind of hostility there towards the maternal principle in some way. So it'll be interesting. I would be curious if you put in comments how that whole thing. So your positive feelings, and this is such a fascinating card to have in the positive feelings, because the Three of Swords, which, the Three of Swords is just one of those cards in the tarot. I mean, it's a tough thing to experience, but it's one of the most beautiful cards to me, like art-wise, in all of my different decks. But it's a tough one to experience. Sometimes it comes up for love triangles, and sometimes it comes up for just pain or suffering of some kind. And sometimes it comes up for like a literal surgery of some kind, but it's in your positive feelings. So it looks like it's like you feel very positive about like the beauty that's emerging from maybe a painful situation in your life. And and by the way, I might add that this corresponds to the full moon in Scorpio, because this is really prominent for you around the 25th to the 27th, but the full moon of Scorpio is actually on the 26th. And full moons bring illumination for you. This is in your 10th house of career and attainment. It's also, if you don't have a career, the 10th house has to do with your reputation or your status. It can also have to do with your father. And so the 10th house is where you should be getting some illumination on those 10th house topics, and or a culmination, which we also see at the beginning of the month with you and the Judgment card. So, Scorpio is square Aquarius, so that full moon, it can be a tough energy, but it looks like you are really like making the best of it and really making some lemon out of lemonades there. Lemonade out of lemons. Okay, so yeah, and that is, I didn't mention to you that the outcome is the Two of Swords, and this is happening, around the end of the month, and it is like, or around the next new moon rather, or around the end of the month, I suppose. Somebody's revealing themselves to you in a way that you have not seen before, or else you are becoming aware of something in your environment that you had not previously seen. And this is happening around the time that Pluto goes retrograde in Capricorn. And this is notable because everything has been going forward. Finally, all the planets have been direct, and now Pluto is going to be he's going to go direct. He's going to go retrograde. And that's happening in your 12th house. This house is a house that was very, very active for you last year in 2020. And so this Pluto retrograde at the end of the month might bring back something from that time that is being readdressed. And again, it kind of corresponds with this card of someone revealing themselves to you, or you seeing something in the environment, which is really interesting because the 12th house is the house of the blind spot, or of hidden enemies, or of hidden karma, also known as the house of confinement, jails, prisons, institutions. It has to do with mental health. But, yeah, look at the end of the month for something to be revealed to you in that kind of area. A lot of revealing energy all the way from, kind of the 25th through the end of the month for you. And that is my overview for Aquarius for the month of April. So if you liked my video, please give me a like. If you didn't like it, give me a don't like. But I, of course, hope you liked it. Please follow me on Instagram at astrology.tarot.eliannicole, where I will continue the conversation I started here and fill in the details about the planetary transits as they're unfolding on my feed and in my stories. And please subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Please share this video with other Aquariuses that you know. And please have a wonderful, wonderful April. Thank you.